Switch back. Welcome everyone to our monthly leadership chat. I know there was a lot that said they couldn't get on, so I am recording this so people can watch it later. But I'm super excited for those of you that are able to be on tonight. I just got back along with Carol, who's on from a retreat in Mississippi. And I will tell you, I've been to a lot of retreats, and it was by far my absolute favorite, hands down. Like, usually after a retreat too, you're a little bit exhausted. I cannot wait for the next one. I mean, it was so well put together. It was a really, really great mix of inspiration, motivation, not necessarily like a bunch of Cincy to-dos, but we did get some tidbits of information. But it was so good. The food was incredible. Annette Tomlinson's husband cooked, and it was just fabulous. The speakers were great. The thing I loved about it is we had these huge cabins. There was 5 cabins, and it held up to like 20 people. And then they had, like at the ends of some, they had little private rooms too. But if they kept it cheap, it was $150 for the whole weekend. And I paid for food, everything. It was super great. They are going to do it again next year. I'm not sure when, but I road tripped 8.5 hours, and it was worth every minute of the drive. It was so good. Carol would say the same. I know she's on right now. So I wanted to share a little bit about that because my takeaways from that were something that I hadn't really thought about for my business for a while. And it really got me thinking. It got me thinking outside the box for my business. And so I kind of wanted to share with you on that, some of the things that we learned. Um, so we had a bunch of guest speakers that talked about giving, and not just tithing, that kind of giving, but just giving in general, giving back to charities, giving back to fundraisers, things like that. And I thought, oh my goodness, like I used to have an organization called 10 Strong, which was some of you guys helped with, but it was at the 10th floor at OU Children's. And it was a floor full of cancer kids going through chemo, that kind of thing. And we would throw them a party every month. And so, of course, for Halloween, I would dress up like a witch. We had people come and do our makeup. And for Christmas, we brought everyone goodies, and it was really fun. Then when COVID happened, they didn't allow anyone in, so they quit doing 10 Strong, kind of fizzled. But I found so much fulfillment in that. And when I look back, I was giving a lot of my time, and I was giving a lot of Cincy. But when I think back of all the people that brought me recruits, it brought me parties, it brought me customers. And it was truly me doing something that I thoroughly enjoyed giving back to. And so a couple of the ladies were sharing just different things that they're tied to. There was a lady there that was a nurse practitioner, and she was helping sex trafficking organizations. There's another lady there that was connected to domestic violence, like safe houses. There were some that were connected to foster homes. There was this one girl, she had gone through cancer. And so her goal was to get as many baskets of like hand lotion, hand soap, body wash, and all that put together. And she would take a picture of it, and she'd post on Facebook, "Hey, I'm helping out the, cancer society, blah, blah, blah. Like, let me know if you want to buy a basket. It's $25. It'll go directly in the hands of someone with cancer. We will deliver on this date if you want to be a part of that." And so this girl that was posting about the baskets for cancer, she said she would put, like, one of the biggest things you can do is whenever you connect yourself with an organization is post, 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 post. So whether it's buddies that you donate to a hospital, things like that, you be consistent. Well, someone had shared her post in her Mississippi community, and this guy reached out and said, "Hey, I'm retired. I've got a lot of money. I don't have a wife. I would love to donate some money for you to put together some of these baskets. I saw that you give them to people with cancer. And I would love it if you did that." And so he sent her $1,000. And yeah, and then a couple weeks later, he sent her $2,500. And the doors that's opened for her, as far as just it started with her connecting herself with an organization and giving back. And now it's become huge. I mean, it's a huge fundraiser. She has people that from all over that help out. And it started with one idea of just connecting yourself with a charity that means something to you. And there were lots of other stories, but I was like, oh my gosh, that should be one thing that we do in our business. Maybe you have you've been a part of domestic violence. Maybe you've been homeless before. Maybe you have a parent or sibling that's gone through sexual abuse. Maybe you have, like I know Patty's really, really big with fostering animals and taking care of them and things like not necessarily fostering. I think you probably fostered, I'm sure, but like just taking care of animals. There's so many charities, and it just takes us reaching out and saying, "Hey, listen, I would love to write your organization a check. Let me know if you guys are interested in, earning some funds or earning a check. And then if they say yes, then tell them what you're about. This can go a few different ways. I can put together a basket of goodies and we can sell them for a certain price. And you can post all over your Facebook page, this and that, all commissions go to your organization, that kind of thing. We can do a fundraiser link. But my big takeaway was just listening to, and Carol was there too, person after person after person talk about the organization that they're connected to. And I think a lot of them were on Annette Tomlinson's team. So Annette Tomlinson, if you haven't heard her story, we'll have to have her share it sometime. But basically, in a nutshell, she's one of our SSDs in our group. She's actually my frontline SSD right now. Um, when she grew up between the ages of 5 and high school, she went to 26 different schools. Her dad was on the FBI top 5 most wanted for a lot of her life. Her mom ran a brothel. And so that's how Annette grew up. And so she was able to get out of that lifestyle. She ended up going into ministry. And then at the age of like 19, she went to go work for someone connected her with this house that is kind of like a group home for kids that don't have homes. And her story is incredible. She's written a book, it's on Amazon, and it's very cool. But because of that, she pushes fundraisers with her group a lot. And her group excels at them. And so it was really cool because it's something that a lot of us just look for. Like for me personally, I just look for fundraisers like sports kids or cheerleading squads or, this and that. I've never really connected myself other than with 10 Strong. Since then, I haven't really connected myself with a group that genuinely breaks my heart a little bit. And I think that's the big key is, find an organization that breaks you. Find an organization that it it makes you sad, it makes you tear up, it makes you want to help because it's affected you. And then reach out. I'll say, I want to help. Say, I don't know how local you are, what you need locally, but I would love to help. I can put together baskets and post them all over, and I give you my commission from those. I can, whatever it is that you feel called to do. But the cool thing about it is we had these people up on stage, and they were hitting incredible Cincy numbers, incredible, and they were selling incredible amounts. And a lot of it came back to them just partnering with an organization and all that came with that. I'm a firm believer, and you may not be, that's okay. I'm a firm believer that if you give more than you take, like Cincy, it all comes back, in all aspects of life. If you give more than you take to charities, to your church, to, just your business, to other people, I'm a firm believer that comes back. And as I'm watching this leader after leader from Nettie's go up there and share all these incredible things, I'm like, I mean, this one lady, I'm trying to remember what organization she was helping with, but she was collecting buddies. And a guy came up to her at church because she made a big deal of it. We're collecting buddies for the hospital of this certain wing or whatever it was. And he came up to her and he was like, I've got a lot of money and I don't want to leave it to my 2 kids because there's no relationship there. If you ever need money for an organization, let me know. And she's like, I don't right now. Well, then later on, fast forward 6 months, she started working with this organization and donating buddies, and she called him up. And he said, okay, here's $500, buy as many buddies as you can. And so, like I said, I'm a firm believer that if we, Cincy can be a big blessing, it truly can. But I also, after this retreat this weekend, I'm like, I need to really step outside my box. I always talk about bag parties and Facebook parties and home parties and all the things, but there's so many organizations. Like, for instance, the thing that kept popping in my head is, are all these men with money single? It's so funny. Carol, what was the name of that guy that donated like $1,000 to, she's one of our directors. I'm trying to think of her name. It lost me. It was like Big Daddy Pete. She kept calling him. So she calls him Big Daddy Pete. I think that's right. And so she was like, how am I going to explain this to my husband? this guy gave me $1,000. I'm squaring his card right now. And then she's a little bit later, she's like, now he's wanting to send me $2,500. How am I going to explain that Big Daddy Pete is just buying Scentsy? And so I just thought that was hilarious. I said, all of us need to find a Big Daddy Pete. But one thing that I'm going to do, and you guys can attach yourselves on if Big Daddy somebody, yeah, Big Daddy Pete, I think, or something like that, is the OKC Crisis Nursery. So one of my good friends from high school started it. It's in Oklahoma City. We were pretty good friends in high school, and it's really cool. They take in kids from like the ERs, we'll call them and say, listen, this mom has to have emergency surgery and there's no one that can take their kid. Can you take the kid? And so they take kids in emergently like that. They help moms get beds, that kind of stuff. But they always have children at their place and they have repetitive kids and things like that. And so I will routinely donate diapers and this and that. And, they'll post on their Facebook page different stories and I'll go on there and Venmo to them to help families and things like that. But I'm like, man, why am I not more involved? I mean, I could really, really get involved. I could do a buddy drive for them. I could do fun little buddy clip baskets for all the kids and post on Facebook and probably I have most incredible friends. I could probably sell 50 of them. And so it's truly selflessly thinking outside the box to help an organization. And it was bringing these late leaders and ladies so much business that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just an area we don't talk about. We talk about fundraising. We do. We talk a lot about fundraising, but we don't talk about pouring our hearts in an organization that we feel called to, and really pouring our hearts and just the fruit that comes from that. And so I'm going to focus on that, but I just wanted to share that because I don't know if you're someone that has really, um, you know, done something like this or really connected yourself with one. But I think that like now's the time to really look into it. One of the ladies there, she was with I want to say domestic violence shelter, and or no, 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 no. She actually pulls people from sex trafficking. She will go get them and help get them out of sex trafficking. But the shelter she works with, they get very, very, very little funding, very little. So she said most of them are like that. And she said most of them will jump at anything to fundraise. I mean, they usually are having to reach out for fundraising. So if you reach out to them, even better. So, anyways, I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share one of the ladies there, and I will get you all of her information if you would like. Some of you may be really, really, really good at Canva, and you don't need this information, but this girl, let me find it. Um, fundraiser stuff. Okay, let's see. I might have to go to. Um, so they had a girl there at the retreat, and you would literally email her your information, and she would send you your own um, customizable fundraiser scent circle candle fundraiser sheet and um, fragrance flower. And I will find them and I will post if I can't find them in just a second, I'll post them on our Diva page. But it was really cool. Like she does a really, really, really good job. She's like, oh, I'll do it for $15. And so it's neat because now I have the PDFs, so I can use them all catalog. So I'm printing those and I'm actually going to take those up to some of the local daycares here. I'm going to find out, it's really hard to find safe house domestic shelters. So I'm going to take them up to the OKC Crisis Nursery, see if they want to do anything like that, but they're really cool. I'll post pictures when I find them in my email. And the great thing about that is if you use her when you need, oh, there you go. Replica GRFX is her business name. And she has a Facebook page, Carol, too. I know I've got one of her cards. I'll post her cards, I'll post all that kind of stuff. But she can design anything and it's super cheap. So if you're someone that's not really great at designing your own stuff, she's awesome. Okay, here they are. Let me pull these up. Okay, she posted a couple different ones. So she did these. Oh, hang on. She did these. I'm sure you can see them with all my information on it. And then she did the scent circle one, super duper cute. And then she did a candle one that I'm supposed to be getting any day, but pretty darn cool. She put all the current, she actually picked for the scent circle, she picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different scents. And then for the fragrance flower, she put all the fragrance flower types on there too. So very, very cool. No, she's not a consultant. She just is really big in marketing and design. But I will share her business card, all the things, and I'll share what these look like because I'm someone, if I can pay $10 to have it all done for me and I'll have to redo it in Canva, blah, 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 then I also want to share something I learned. So one of the girls that does a lot of fragrance flowers fundraisers, she buys on Amazon the sticker pages. So you get a full page that's a sticker and she prints that sheet on a sticker and then puts it on a white envelope, like a big fundraising white envelope. And so she just has them right on the outside of the envelope on that sticker that's on the envelope. Super cool. I'm like, why not think of that? I'm either taping it or just putting it inside, but when it's out there on the outside, you see it, it looks better. So that was one thing I learned too. That was really cool. But I just want to touch on the fundraisers because, like I said, it's an area of my business that I'm very good at as far as fundraising for sports teams and one-on-one and this and that. But as far as like charities and connecting with that, I think that I'm missing the boat. And I know if I'm missing the boat, some of you guys may be. And I think it's just a really big area, especially after hearing all these leaders one after the other. I mean, Carol can attest. It was like one to go up there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's incredible what she's doing for this. And then, oh my gosh, she's gotten two directors from this. Like, not that we just do stuff to get. My point is, when you give back like that, things will come to you. You know, you're giving back, you're putting your time. You're not necessarily making a commission, but you're broadening your outreach. And then we had the amazing um, Heather Gorsuch speak, and she's freaking hilarious, guys. I had never I had never really hung out with Heather Gorsuch a whole lot. I mean, I've seen her on trips and I've seen her at Summit and I've seen her at SFR. She's hilarious. I mean, truly hilarious. I had no idea about her story. She had a brother that was 10 months younger than her. Whenever they were, I think he was around 9 or 10, he passed away. He was at a gun range, which he'd gone to all the time. Might have been 12. I can't remember, but he was young. And a bullet ricocheted off the wall and hit something and it went through the side of his head. And she calls him her Irish brother, Irish twin, because they were so close together. And so her big point at the retreat was like, we have to live for today. We have to live for today. And so if you're around Heather, if you're ever able to hang out with Heather, she is someone that lives in the moment. Um, she's a no BS. She's a straight to the point. But she loves life. She loves others. And she's really, really big on living for today. Don't have regrets. Don't compare yourself to other leaders. You know, if you haven't hit director numbers in a while, who cares? Let's worry about today and let's focus forward on what you can do. You know, let's not live through yesterday, live for today. And so I took some notes. She's absolutely incredible, Pat. Oh my gosh, you get to work with her for H Down Showdown, so you get to hear her a lot. I'm going to read some of these notes because I can't do her justice by recapping her. But she's talked about we are the company that we keep. So she talked about don't feed her corn. She talked about like surrounding yourself with people, good people, live for today. We don't have to stay where we are at. None of us have to stay where we're at. If you're not happy with where you're at right now, that can change. You can change that. Um, I love this. How we do anything is how we do everything. If that's deep. Um, she said, discipline without purpose turns into burnout. Discipline without purpose turns into burnout. If you are, and Heather even admitted, she was like, honestly, guys, I'm in a phase right now of burnout. She said, I'm going and going. She looked exhausted. She's like, I'm going and going and going and going. And she said, we all go through it. But when she said discipline without purpose is burnout, that is so true. Everything you should be doing should be income producing activities. Scrolling Facebook isn't necessarily income producing unless you're messaging people asking if they want to order, if they want to host, or even, checking on your customers. That's income producing, I feel like, is reaching out, asking how they're doing, that kind of thing. But if you're just going through the motions and there's no purpose to some of what you do, or it's not providing fruit, discipline without purpose to that is complete burnout, right? And then you're not going to get what you need out of it. Um, Decluttering the noise, unfollow comparison triggers, remove drama excuses. You can't build, gather, yeah, remove excuses. That was a big thing she talked about too, and I talked about too, is it's easy to go down negative rabbit holes, but it is zero for your business. So if you are comparing your business right now to someone that's excelling more than you, unfollow them right now. Don't follow them. It does nothing for you, right? So unfollow. If you're following any of these anti-MLMers or people who have left Cincy and all they do is bash, unfollow. Don't give them the views, right? Sometimes it's decluttering and taking out the negativity noise, because that negativity noise can create then questions. It can create doubt. It can create, oh my gosh, is something going to happen to Cincy? Because one person posts something negative, it creates a whole this bubble ripple effect. And our brains, it's scientifically proven that our brains connect to negativity more than positivity, right? So it's easy to go down that negative rabbit hole. And if you really want to excel as a leader with Cincy, you got to cut out the noise. It does nothing for you. One thing that they talked about on it creates eye rolls and unfriend from me. I love it. One thing that I talked about too on our SSD call a couple weeks ago, Dan said that, and I've shared this before, but Go Patty Region 3 is killing it. They're still killing it at recruiting. Also in the US, they're starting to see signs that we're moving out of the dip. So it's been about 2 years of it, but we're starting to see slow down and then plateaued and a little bit of up right now. And so they're very, very excited because you can't start going up till you plateau, right? And so they're starting to see that now and they're excited about it. And so we talked a lot about that. But the only way us leaders that are here on the chat tonight are going to take advantage is by getting all that noise out, all the negative. If the director page brings you negativity, don't check it. I have notifications turned off. If there's something I'm desperate to find out, I will go in there and search. Other than that, I completely ignore it. It is negative, 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 everything. There's very few positives every so often. So, like I said, cut out the noise. You don't need that to succeed. I did tell them, and I've told you this, guys, before, I'm so thankful that social media wasn't big when Grace Adele and Velada shut down back in like 2013, because that was catastrophic. Since he literally opened up two companies, and not very long later, a year or so later, they shut down those two companies. If social media would have been around then, that could have been the end of Cincy, guys, because people are so freaking negative. Cincy's next. And then look what we've done since then. So again, don't let the social media keyboard warriors who probably aren't even working their business. Most of the negative ones that are typing aren't working their business, right? Most ones that are busting their butt are working. They don't have time to go on Facebook every hour and post negative, or they vent up to their upline. Some of you guys come to me, come to your upline, but a lot of people that are working their business, they don't have time to go gripe and check the feed every, oh, I got to comment on this, I got to comment on this. No, they're working their business, right? If you have time to comment every 10 minutes on someone's Facebook trying to argue back and forth, you're probably not working your business like you should. And so we talked a lot about that. And Heather was really adamant on, you've got to declutter the noise. And then I'm going to share some more quotes because she was rapid fire, Carol, wasn't she? Well, let me finish this and I'll share what I shared a little bit about. Cheerleaders are great, but we need to be doers. Cheerleaders are great, right? We have to be doers. Um, we don't have to love every task, but we have to do them, right? There's things that I don't love and maybe I don't do as much of it, but we still have to do them. This at the end of the day is a job, and if we have to work it like a job to get paid like a job, consistency, there you go, third time's a try, beats intensity. Um, Fear is a complete liar. We talked about your story becomes someone else's um, inspiration. You may not even know that right now. You may be sitting there and you've been Superstar consultant for 2 years and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Can I get out of this? And absolutely. And then what if your story is a story that changes someone else's life? You just don't know that. And so that's why it's really important um, to keep motivating or stay motivated, keep filling your cup. Another thing is you can't help others as a leader if you are burned out right now, if you're exhausted. the last thing that you want to do is Cincy at the end of the day because you have a full-time job. Think about what you're doing to keep your cup full. What are you doing? Are you listening to a podcast? If not, 10 minutes every morning, maybe before while you're getting ready. Instead of the Amazon music playing, turn on a leadership podcast. Craig Groeschel is amazing. He is so good. You guys probably know some. Maybe you can put some in the chat. Um, he's so good. But maybe it's that you're not keeping your cup full. So then you're trying to help your team with the little bit you have left in there, and it's just not enough and it's just burning you out. So I encourage you to do something for yourself. This things like this retreat, when they'll do it again next year. I didn't go to walk away necessarily with all these ideas. I'm totally going out the fundraising thing from a different perspective. But I walked away with my cup full. Okay, I am enough. And you guys need to know you are enough. You're exactly where you should be. If you're a believer, I fully believe you're exactly where God feels you should be at this exact moment. And you're the only one that can change the trajectory of your business. But you got to be a doer. Patty said, don't be a hypocrite leader. That's a biggie for me. If you're asking your team to do it, like going to events and you're not, then that's a big ick factor. Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing that I talked about, and I've talked a lot. So here in just a minute, I'm going to open it up and you guys can share, ask questions or whatever. Because usually it's a little more interactive, but I was just so excited to share all the things. So I, of course, brought my sports analogy because you know I love sports. And of course, OU played Ole Miss, and we're in Mississippi, so we have all these hotty toddy, hoity toity. I can't. They have a certain saying that they say. I think it's hotty toddy. Is it hotty toddy? I don't know. They did it a few times. You guys may know. But I spoke before they played, and I was like, if you guys hear me yelling "Boomer Sooner," it's because we're playing your Ole Miss, and then we got beat. So I heard a lot about it. But a lot of my speech was like sports themed, and I just told them like, you guys are the coaches. Think about it as a coach. You guys are the coaches of your business. You guys decide what to put your time in, who to put your time in. You decide the playbook, right? Some of you right now aren't happy with the first half. You're not happy with the first two quarters, maybe this last year, maybe the last few months, maybe you've had a lot going on, right? You can't always help the things that happen in life, the external factors like Tammy and Patty both had surgeries and things like that. You can't help some of those things, right? But you can make second half adjustments if you're not happy with where you're at. And it's going to be those adjustments that make you win and have a comeback and have a great fall and a great spring. But if you don't make those adjustments, if your business isn't bringing fruit in, if your business isn't bringing recruits in, if your business isn't bringing, new team members, new customers, all the things, if you don't change things now, the outcome's going to be the same. You're going to keep dwindling. You're going to lose more people. You're going to end up losing the game, right? And I don't know what that looks for you. It could just be that you don't ever hit title again. I don't know. But think about right now in your business, we're at halftime, right? Things are going to start going up because we can feel it. We're going to get out of this dip. But you guys have to make the adjustments. No more excuses. No more, I can't get a recruit and this and that, unless you are handing out 50 samples, having 10 join conversations. That's minimum. What you do on your worst day can really predict your Cincy business, what you do and how you work on your worst day, right? You should be doing some stuff so habitual. And so if you are, and this is hardcore talk, but this is what we got at the retreat and it was so good. And I'm probably butchering some of it, but if you aren't willing to sacrifice and as far as doing all the things you did pre-COVID, then your business probably won't change a whole lot. We handed out, I had Allison Petty, we rode to the retreat and back. I packed 15 samples in my purse. That was the rest of my had for this month. I handed out every sample. Our last sample I handed out was at Chili's before I met my parents. And the girl had never heard from it. She just moved from Arizona and I got all of her information. I think she's going to join my team. And Allison's sitting there like, and I was like, I told you, if you want to, it's uncomfortable. It's not always easy. Discipline and consistency. Yes. Discipline without purpose is burnout. So true. And so I told Allison's like, well, now that I see all the people in contact you've like on our, road trip there and back, it was 8.5 hours there, 8.5 hours back. We made a lot of gas station stops. I handed out a lot of gifts. I only got a couple people's information. I got the waitress's information. I think she may join. She's so funny. She's 70. She looks like she's every bit of 50. And she does Uber Eats. She works at Chili's in the evenings. She's got a farm. She's retired, but just doesn't want to stop. And I was like, well, do you want a third job? And she's like, what is it? And I told her. And anyways, Allison was like firsthand, like, oh my gosh, I don't do any of this. And I said, well, here's the deal. The people that do this right now, that seek new customers, that seek new contacts, when we hit this hyper growth, our teams are going to double and triple. And so if you really want Cincy to work, the excuses have to go out the window. Halloween is Friday. You guys should have a minimum of 100 to 200 if you can, room spray samples or wax samples or things. People are coming to your door to trick or treat. You need to be prepared. No other holiday ever in 365 days is someone going to come to your door and want you to put their hand out, want you to give them something. So why not give them Cincy, right? Why not brand yourself? I actually just ordered more yesterday. You can on Amazon, you can overnight them, the 3 mil atomizers. If you have room sprays, you can make 60 samples. I will send you my labels. You can put your information, but no excuses. You could overnight 120 samples if you want, right? If you don't have trick or treaters, find a place to hand them out. Find a friend's house to hand them out at. But you got it. We got to start putting our mouth where our I'm gonna butcher this, our mouth where our money, like that's I'm totally butchering that. We got to start working our business, right? We can't just say, okay, well, I haven't got to recruit. My team's not growing. And when in reality, like we've talked to 5 people, that's not going to do it. We need to talk to a lot more than that. We need to actively get new customers. We've got to get that frame of mind that if it smells, it sells person to person, not over the internet, not just on social media, not just internet parties. We have to get back to getting ourselves out there, back to bringing our samples with us for around for a week, right? Anywhere we go, our samples go with us and they're in a clear bag so people see them. We've got to get back to those conversations, back to those door price slips, right? Or those notebooks. When you hand out a gift or a sample and they get excited, get their information, tell them you're going to enter them in your monthly drawing. We've got to get back to those things. Those things are going to make you a better leader. And then if you show your team that you're doing that, holy cow, your respect you're going to gain is huge. The first thing that Allison said, because she's made samples with me, she's handed out samples when we got back. She was like, I got to make a bunch of these samples. I got to get new customers like this. Like, it's crazy, the amount of interest you got on a 2-day road trip. And I'm like, well, anyone can do this, Allison. You've made the samples, right? It's just making them and handing them out, right? Um, I'm thirsty. Okay. I put your drink in there, and then I have Daddy get your drink if you don't see it. Here's my drink. It's on by the couch. So you guys, Patty, we will probably not during the fall, but first of the year would be a great time to do an LDU or lead. So that's a great idea. All right, so you guys and me, I know it's 8:36, so if you have to get off, I totally understand. But if you guys may have things you want to add or questions or whatever or anything, if you want to unmute, you might say, "Man, you're a real bee tonight, Jack." Just kidding. I was just really, hopefully you feel the energy. I was so excited. And like I said, I didn't necessarily learn a task or learn something new. I just learned where I'm going to put my focus and try to really expand myself personally, but also see what fruit comes back from doing those things. Was I just so thorough that you guys have no input?
I'll add if you want.
Yes.
I'll add because I was there too
Yep.
with my friend Jacqueline. The whole idea of the retreat, I had never been to a retreat. So, but the whole idea of a retreat for me was I really didn't know what to expect. But let me just tell you that if you even if you don't go to one of these, I mean, if you're fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to go, it was so wonderful. And you're just this one, like Jacqueline said, it wasn't like we were filled with all these ideas of new things to do, but you were just so filled up with the love for this business and the love for these people because everybody just emanates this all of these wonderful values that Cincy has. And if there's a question or people are feeling, whatever they feel are their deficiencies, there's just, 30, 40, 50 other people there to just lift them up. And you leave there with so much more confidence and so much more, you know, just inspiration to go and do more and to lead your teams better and to pour that life and to pour that love and all those things into your people and to bring more in because you want to share that with everyone, the feelings that you have for this weekend. I mean, all the speakers, Jacqueline included, they were just amazing and they're just so inspirational. And I haven't been a consultant, but I'm going on my 5th year now. So for me, it's still new compared to so many of these people. And it's so inspiring and so uplifting to have people who know what they're doing and then make you feel like, what, we're just like you are, and we still have the same feelings and the same issues, and we have to do the same work. So I felt like it was such a great boost to the spirit, just to everything, and to just use the values that are instilled in us from the very beginning, and just keep Cincy in the forefront of your mind all the time, whether you're working. I'm busy, I have other jobs, but whether you're working, whether you're out, I bought a new car today. My Cincy app was up. The girl who did my financing scanned it. She had an order placed before I got home. It's just you because her office smelled good, but I knew it wasn't Cincy. I could tell. So I said, "Let me show you what we have." And she's like, "Oh, these are so beautiful." She's like, "I'm going to order candles before I forget." She had an order placed before I got home. Keep it in the forefront of your mind, and people will do it. She hadn't even smelled it, but I knew she liked fragrance because I smelled her office. So you just but these people are these retreats and they're to get going, and not to mention all the hugs and fun and wonderful inspiration that you get from these people. So it was great. We loved it.
Thank you, Carol. You're so sweet. Carol's super fun. We got to hang out a lot, and she's underneath Sarah Thomas, if you guys know Sarah. And but yeah, it was awesome. Pat says I need to hop off, but thank you so much, Jack. You're welcome. I know, short and sweet. I know you guys are super busy. I hope you guys did see that the end of the month. This month is on the 30th. I did post on the Diva page, not the 31st, which I'm glad because we will have a whole house full since Halloween's nuts around here. Does anyone else have anything that they want to add? Feel bad it was just me talking tonight. Hopefully, it was okay tonight. Usually we chit chat a little bit more, but I had to share all the things. We are definitely, you know what? I'm going to get Heather Gorsuch to come chat with us next month if she's available. Hopefully by then her burnout's a little bit better because she has been going from one to the next and to the next and to the next. But she had so much. I wish if I need to rewatch her speech. I'll try to get her speech and put it on the Diva page because it was one of those that it was like, Amen, yes, yes, yes. Like she had so many good points, like just that discipline without purpose equals burnout. She had so many one-liners like that. So I'll try to get her speech too. In the meantime, I'm going to upload my Scent Circle flyers and that girl's information. And if you do want to shoot her an email with all your information, she can make you the candle, the fragrance flower, and the Scent Circle fundraiser order forms. And she can tweak whatever you want her to tweak. And it was $15. So she could probably get that to you tomorrow if you emailed her. And then you could go hit up businesses or hit up charities or all the things.
I just want to say quickly, um, thank you again, Jacqueline, for getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. On the day of my surgery, I was a speaker that night, and so she went to sleep and then got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and talked to my Region 3 people. Actually, all the Region 3 people. It's not just my team; it's all of Region 3. And I was in the hospital, but I attended.
Which
So I
I'm
just
I'm
want
more
to say,
amazed. Thank you, Patty. I'm more amazed you were on and weren't completely drugged out because I was like, oh my gosh, Patty's my hero. She just had surgery and she's still on. So I am so proud of you. Thanks for
well,
putting me on.
it's part of that hypocritical thing, like I posted, because, like, well, I'm the one that always says no excuses, no excuses.
But
And
surgery is kind of an excuse. You could have pulled that card.
I'm like, yeah, I didn't pull it for a funeral when my man died. I'm not pulling it today.
I love you.
So everyone's different,
It's true.
um, but yeah, and I wanted them to know too that because it's something new I'm doing for the whole region, that I'm committed and I'm in. So it was part of that too.
Well, if they don't believe
It's
that
something
now,
that
then
I think Well, and I think it's something like Jason says on every single live in the Region 3 group, we're all in, and he just keeps saying it over and over and over. And I think it's that we've got your back, and we are all in, and we're going to do whatever we can to help you, kind of thing. So
I love it. And Amy Mark Charles is on tonight and she's sick. Look at you, Amy. I know that you're not going to unmute, but I'm praying that you get over this viral, whatever crude stuff you have ASAP. But I'm super proud of you for getting on too, because it would be easier to be laying in bed with some NyQuil and Netflix. So thanks for jumping on. But yeah, if we don't have any other questions, we'll let you guys off early or tonight. But I'm going to message Heather after this and see if she can jump on our one next call to do a little leadership training with us because she is just, I'm like, why have I not buddied up with her before? She is so incredible. Right, sis?
Yeah.
You're slurping. Oh, my lands. All right. Well, I love you guys. Carol, thanks for joining us for your first leadership chat. We loved having you on. Patty, thank you for sharing. Kathy, Becky, Tara, and whoever, and Tammy, and whoever iPhone 3 is, thanks for getting on tonight. I will upload this for the others that weren't able to make it. But I love you guys. I hope you end this month really strong. And I hope I see you on the end of the month with Cincy, with Orville and Heidi. So say love you all.
Love you all.
All right, you guys have a good night and we'll talk to you soon.